Now we're going to jump over to Module 7, Statistical Reasoning in Everyday Life. So random fact is when there are many misleading statistics, we should be careful about the stuff we hear if it's not cited properly. And descriptive statistics is when the numeral data that measures and describes groups is represented. Within this section, there's something called measures of central tendency. The mean is the average, and the median is the midpoint. For example, if the data set is 45799, the median is 7 because the 7 is the median value, the middle highest value among this data set. If there are an even number of data points, you average the middle too. So if the data set is 456799, you take the average of 6 and 7, so the median is 6.5. Simple, right? And when you calculate for the median is same to the midpoint, which is the 50th percentile, so the half percentile of a test result. And percentile means the following. If you're at the 70th percentile, there are only 30% of people better than you. That means you're better than the bottom 70%. And the mode is the most frequently occurring number. For example, if the dataset is 455567, the mode is 5, because 5 is repeated 3 times within this dataset. The mean is the most affected by an outlier or large variation. So if you have 11123, the mean is 1.6, median is 1, mode is 1. So all of these values, as you can notice, are pretty similar to each other in value, right? But if you have 1112120, and in this dataset, 20 is the outlier because it is extremely larger than the other values within this dataset. The mean is 5, the median is still 1, and the mode is still 1. As you can see, the disparity between the mean, median, and the mode, the values, have greatly increased because the outlier 20 was added to the dataset, right? So as you can see, the mean is the most affected by an outlier or large variation because when a large number is added, and then when you have to divide them with the number of items that you have in a dataset, then the result will naturally increase greatly because you have a greater value of the data within the dataset. That would increase the total sum of the value of the dataset within the dataset. Now, we're going to talk about the measures of variation. Range is the difference between the highest and lowest numbers. So if you have 11456, then the range will be 5, because 6 minus 1 is 5. And standard deviation is a measure of how far each number is from the mean. And it increases more if there are bigger differences among the numbers in the dataset. 11111 has a mean of 1, but a standard deviation of 0. 001122 also has a mean of 1, but a higher standard deviation because there are more differences within the dataset, right? And variance is the square of the standard deviation. So if standard deviation is 2, then variance is 4. You should remember this formula. Variance is the square of a standard deviation. The types of distributions. A normal curve is a bell-shaped curve. You should memorize the numbers underneath the graph. You should memorize that it's also symmetrical. So as you can see, the first section of the standard deviation within this bell-shaped curve is 68%. The second standard deviation, which is highlighted in sky blue and also containing the area of the green 68% in the middle, they are going to be 68% plus 13.5% plus 13.5%, which adds up to 95%. So in the MCQ section, the College Board is going to ask you to identify the true value of the true percentile when a certain item is 2 standard deviations above the mean or the median. So then you have to talk about how the data that you're looking for is in the 95% area, which is the 2 standard deviations higher than the data that was given. And then the third standard deviation falls in the white part, the blue part, and the green part, added all up together, which adds up to 99%. So when they ask you what is the percent value of all 3 standard deviations added together, you need to say it's 99%. Now a skewed curve can look like the following. A negatively skewed graph will have the mode at the highest, the median at the middle, and the mean at the lowest. A normal, no skew curve will have the mean, median, mode at the same point. And a positively skewed graph will have the mean at the highest point, but with the lowest number of values, and the median at the middle, and the mode at the topmost quantity, but the bottommost value. It is the smallest in this skewed graph. And inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics tell us something about a sample. And inferential statistics, on the other hand, allow us to generalize the results from the sample to the larger population. Now, some notes about reliability are: representative samples are better than biased samples, and less variable observations are better, and more cases are better than fewer. A significant difference means that the difference observed is not due to chance. It means that the result is statistically significant. So therefore, if there is no statistically significant result, then the difference observed could actually be due to chance. Moving on to Module 8, frequently asked questions about psychology. Now, through experiments, what's more important are the resulting principles that we find rather than the specific results. And culture can influence behavior. A collectivist culture, it emphasizes group goals. An individualistic culture, it prioritizes individual goals, right? So members from these different cultures, they may have different values when they're making decisions, which should lead them to have a influence in the behavior or choices that they make when they are in an area or in a situation when they need to make a choice within a group. Now, our biological heritage is a factor that tells the fact that we are all the same species, human, and that unites us as a universal human family. Some examples are learning disorders manifest through the same brain functions in different language-speaking nations, which is universal. All languages share deep principles, universals. Emotions are often universal, as are smiles and frowns. And gender matters. However, since we're all the same species, we're still very similar in how we think and how we perceive. And ethics regarding animal research. Animal research can be considered unethical. However, we already eat meat anyway for our benefit, right? And animal research can benefit humans. So the question is, which do we prioritize? Compassion for humans or compassion for animals? Generally, researchers say that we should prioritize compassion for humans. Because we're humans, right? We need to value human rights and human goals more. Plus, animal research can also benefit animals. Some experiments regarding dogs feeling stressed helped out dogs adjust to new environments in adoption centers. But that doesn't mean we should do all sorts of nasty experiments with animals. They are similar to us, so we should try to be as humane as possible. Ethics regarding human participants. There's something called informed consent, so this is where it gets important. People should be sufficiently aware of and agree with the experiment they're getting into. And protection. People should be protected from physical or emotional harm or discomfort when they are participating in an experiment. Confidentiality is about how information about participants should be kept confidential or secret. Debriefing. This is really important. You should remember this vocab. People should be fully debriefed, as in, researchers should fully explain the experiment and what was done after the experiment is over. However, some research does require deception. In that case, debriefing is extra important. And psychology is not free of value judgments. It can be used for good and for bad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of Unit 1. Now, in the next video, we're going to move on to Unit 2. And Unit 2 is about statistics again. And some people, some important researchers that you're going to look over. So, see you in the next video, and good luck with your studies. And contact me through the YouTube comment section if you have any questions. See you in the next video, everyone. Goodbye.